Hi, I'm Bill Faber, and I want to thank Covellite Film Festival for having us here. I've had a great time here in Butte. Thank you very much. And these fine actors are going to read a scene from Lifeboat. Lifeboat is a feature film sci-fi drama screenplay. It's based on this graphic novel, Lifeboat, by Mason Mendoza, who would have loved to have been here, but he couldn't make it, so I'm here representing us both. Lifeboat is the story of a generation of people who leave their planet, Earth, we think it's Earth, and go off into space. But it's 100% certain that they're going to run out of energy, and that generational big spaceship is going to dissolve away because it loses its energy and explode. The character who is Emma, who's being played by, is the science officer, and she has created a lifeboat. She is married, May, who's May? May is the science officer, excuse me. And she's married to Emma. And May is trying to convince Emma, her wife, get on this lifeboat with me. Death is certain here. Emma just wants to have can we just have lunch? Or calm down. What's going on? Explain it to me. Okay? So they go to this restaurant. The waiter is this sort of conspiracy theorist, knucklehead, somebody who doesn't believe this concept that the spaceship will ever explode could happen. Oh yeah, that's what the government just tells you to keep us in line. We'll live on this spaceship for another 5,000 years. May is like, you stupid idiot. May knows it's gonna happen in like 2 weeks. The waiter thinks it's gonna happen in 5,000 years, okay? That's the difference between. So it's a three-way conversation. May is trying to explain to Emma, this is our moment, we've gotta go. Emma is trying to say, honey, what's going on here? May is also fighting with the waiter about don't be a knucklehead. So May's sort of at this pivot back and forth. And it's kind of hard for my other writers to write a three-person scene where they're all interacting. And we'll see if it's worked. But that is the scene from Lifeboat. And thank you for letting these actors play it.
Interior, Medlar Cafe. May and Emma are having lunch at a simulated outdoor Parisian cafe in the Memory Lane restaurant district. The cafe sign reads, Coin de l'Univers, corner of the universe. Emma sips her wine, May ignores her.
No one listens to me. I've recalibrated my cryometer multiple times. I've cross-checked the readings over and over for weeks, but they keep denying it. They're so willfully ignorant. I wonder if I'm hallucinating. It's like I'm invisible, and what I do is completely inconsequential.
What are you talking about? What you do is important and valuable. And the kids love you. You're a star.
Thanks, but the kids can't help in this situation.
Don't underestimate them.
The homeless man waddles by the cafe. He's holding his handwritten cardboard sign. He stops near May and Emma's table and flashes his sign. Repent, the end is near. May and the homeless man lock eyes. He points the sign. She nods her head.
Friend of yours?
The waiter rushes in and shoos the man away like a stray dog.
Sorry, he's crazy. He must have wandered in from the slums. I get enough grief from the clockers. I don't need any more.
He wasn't a problem, and he's not wrong.
Sorry, I didn't mean to offend you if you're a doomsday clock believer.
I'm not.
Me neither. The Medlar's been going strong for 500 years. We'll keep going for 5,000.
On what energy? We only have two sources. The declining amount of energy we get from an atlas and the energy we recycle and store in batteries. You think we'd last 5,000 years?
Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not a scientist. Maybe it'll be 10,000.
Emma gives May a look to signal, play nice, please.
Okay, I agree with you. The doomsday clock is just a poorly educated guess. It's not even close to accurate.
It's the opium of the masses.
May, I'm loving this wine. Why don't you try a bit?
In a minute. Here's an insider tip. Ignore the clock. Just watch Atlas. Have you seen it lately?
I'm always working. What's wrong with the big A?
It's shrinking. If Atlas gets too weak to give us energy, when this ship, everything you see, all of us, will disintegrate into space dust.
May snaps her fingers at the word disintegrate.
But can't we live off our batteries?
Meddler's batteries are near empty.
Don't we recharge them when we recycle?
The captain's recycling program is a joke. We turn off much more energy than we recycle.
Yeah, the captain's a joke too.
Okay, I'm ready to order.
That doomsday clock is a big lie. It's the autocracy's plan to control us. It changed almost monthly until they finally settled on that countdown.
I'll have a Cobb salad.
The waiter writes it down, then refocuses on May.
I got better things to do than worry about these fake numbers.
My instruments can measure energy to an infinitesimal degree. I know the real numbers.
Make that 2 Cobb salads.
The waiter scribbles the then change.
Yes, I get it. We're the smartest. We've got the best equipment. The other 4 ships failed, but we're exceptional. Atlas is strong, blah, blah, blah. I went to the same school as everyone else, so maybe it's 8,000 years.
Seriously? You believe that?
Okay, 1 Cobb salad and 1 crab salad.
The waiter scribbles the change.
We're not exceptional. Atlas will fail, like every other star, like every other black hole.
But energy can't be destroyed.
Mine can, by this conversation. Please bring me a cup of coffee.
Energy can change form. It can dissipate to the point where we just can't use it.
The gods made all the good stuff in the universe. They'll just make more.
If they could, why would they?
I don't know. Because they love us?
Why would they give us more stuff if we already wasted the stuff we have?
Not me. I recycle.
And bring some bread. I need carbs.
The waiter scribbles the change.
What if I told you we have less than 40 days left?
Until what?
The end of everything.
Emma's surprised. She's never heard 40 days before. The waiter starts to get annoyed.
So, you want me to start praying for more stuff?
The vein in May's neck are bulging.
I want you to wake up!
Okay, nice chat. Can you be a sweetheart and get us another bottle of wine? We're celebrating.
Excellent. What's the occasion?
It's our anniversary.
Congratulations. How many years?
11.
12.
I mean, 12.
The waiter smirks at May's claim to know real numbers.
I mean, 12.
The waiter leaves for the kitchen.
Do you have to pick a fight with everyone?
No. Yes, he's an idiot.
What's going on with you? 40 days? Tell me the truth or take me home.
Thank you so much. The greatest thing about hearing your words spoken is you pick up things you didn't even realize. What's your name, ma'am? Megan. I literally did not put crab salad in there intentionally. And when you read that, I went, brilliant. But who would have known that if the actress hadn't brought that up? I was like, whoa, that works. But I totally didn't have that in there. I don't know, I was just trying not to pretend salad. But you caught it. That was worth the price of admission, just like one word. So, thank you very much. Any questions?
Would you mind sharing with everyone what you told me about hospice care and how it relates?
Okay. What Lifeboat is really about is it's about hospice care. What would your life be like if, and maybe some of you have gone through this with your family, and probably some have. If you know your loved one is going to die, death is certain, not Hollywood ending where somebody rides in and saves you. No, in this story, death is certain. So in the first half of it, when the whole civilization shows up, these people you know are going to die. And it raises the question of hospice care. If your loved one's going to die, do you want them to know the truth? Or do you want them to not know the truth and just be happy in their last days? If you tell someone the truth about their death, does that make their last few days better or worse? Now the American model of that is, oh, we're so transparent, we sue our doctors, you have to tell them everything. But the Chinese model is different. If you've ever seen The Farewell by Lulu Lang, Aquafina's in it, have you seen that? Chinese culture, they do not tell their elders the truth. And the doctors aren't required to. So a family member goes to the doctor and goes, Nana's gonna die, don't tell her. We're just gonna tell her it's, it's something else, right? And they build this whole culture to keep her happy. So the Americans, Aquafina plays the America, and she comes here and goes, you can't do that. You have to tell people they're gonna die. And the Chinese folks, no, that's not the way we do it. We're not required to tell people to die. How does telling you're gonna die make their last few days better? That's the question in the first half. In the second half, when they escape on the lifeboat, and there's only 3 people on the lifeboat, they know they're going to die in 3 weeks. 100% certain death. So this film only works for people who plan to die. Okay? If you plan to live forever, you won't get it. But everyone else who knows death is certain, you have to, and thank you, you all look relatively healthy. There may come a day when you are the person who's about to die. And then the question is, if you have a limited amount of time to live, let's say 10 days, how would you conduct yourself in those 10 days? That's the second half of the story. And it's designed to make you think, if you would conduct yourself in that way in the last 10 days, why don't you conduct yourself that way now? Because death is certain. It's just a matter of time. Now, this is so harsh, you can't take this to an American audience. So you have to wrap it up in a Twilight Zone sci-fi script so that people can absorb it. Rod Serling of Twilight Zone said, I have a lot to say, but I have to disguise it as sci-fi. Once had a quote, he said, yeah, I can't have a Republican or a Democrat say this on stage, but I can have a Martian say it, right? So that's what sci-fi is designed to do. So it gives another format, but if you see any great sci-fi, it's always hiding drama or some other social commentary underneath it. So, any questions? Yes, ma'am.
So if the ship is going to die in 40 days, do they bounce from the ship with their lifeboat right away, or do they hang out until day 39, then bounce, and then they have 3 weeks left to live?
Yes. She was estimating 40 days. It probably happens in 18 days or something, right? So, yes, so she escapes. Spoiler alert, Emma, who's a teacher, who feels obligated to stay with her students, has to make a moral choice. My wife wants me to leave so we can have 3 weeks together at the end. We're still gonna die quickly. And then I leave all of my students here to go through this disaster without me there. Do I owe a duty to stay on the ship and care for my students at the end? Or do I owe a duty to my wife to go be with her? And the Emma character, decides to stay with her students. That's every core scene in here is designed to ask people, how would you deal when death is certain? And sorry to depress you all, but
No.
raise your hand if you're not going to die, then you can leave. But everybody else, we got to think about these things. Yes.
I have another question. They were talking about asking the gods. So do they know like how the ships and stuff were made, or do they believe that the gods made everything?
We consciously take it out of the American Christian Jewish month of a singular God to show it's a foreign race. Okay, you figure it out at the end. These really aren't Earthlings. You think it's Earthlings, but they're not Earthlings. So they have a different. They have a pantheist system. Okay, but the concept, if this generation has lived this long on this spaceship and they think everything's the same, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to make a political. I guess I have to. First thing that comes to mind is a political analogy. The founding people who fought to create this country said, "Hey, this system we have of democracy may not survive. We got to care for it." Well, 250 years later, we think, "Oh yeah, it'll last forever. We don't have to do anything." No, it still requires maintenance. Civilizations that lived away for a long, long time stop caring about how they came to be. They just assume they're the center of the universe. You know, it's perfect. Do you ever go in an elevator, and you're on the 8th floor, and you're going down to the 1st floor, and then you hear the bell, and you start walking out, and you realize it's the 3rd floor, right? And then somebody gets in, you go, oh, wait, doesn't the universe revolve around me? If I want to get on the 1st floor when that door opens, isn't that the 1st floor? But I always embarrass when I do that, and I think, because I think I'm the center of the universe. That's what happens. You'll see more in this about these. Half of them don't understand, the other half don't care, and there's a tiny group who figure out this thing's in trouble. That makes sense? Sorry, that's very abstract.
Expand the metaphor as you will.
Yes, the
Yeah.
elevator.
Well,
When
I
you get
found-
out of an elevator next time and it's not your floor, remind yourself you're not the center of the universe.
I found it like a subject commentary when he said, you know, let's ask the gods will give us what we need right after shooing away a homeless man. I don't know if I was meant like,
You
that's
know,
meant
it's stunning
to come that way, but.
that people think they're in touch with the higher power but are cruel to their neighbors. Did you know humans behave like that? But the homeless guy who says the end is near, Nay goes, he's right. So, okay.
Thank you so much,
You're
Bill.
welcome.
Thank you.